So this has easily been one of my most requested videos of all time, and I don't know if that's because I keep it real. I am America's honesty broker, but in today's video, we're going to go ahead and break down every single player that got snubbed or robbed of an all-star selection in 2022. Also, one thing I do want to note, Yordan Alvarez, Jazz Chisholm, Bryce Harper, all of these guys were selected to the game, but they're injured, so people are going to take their spots, so keep that in mind. Some of the players that we're going to talk about in today's video will eventually be in the game, but the fact that the majority of these guys won't, that's a little bit okay. Carlos Rodon is going to be our first player that we're going to talk about. So real quick, we're going to speed through the pitchers. I'm not saying I don't care about pitchers, but a lot of fans care more about offense, so we're going to go ahead and talk about pitchers first and foremost. Carlos Rodon, he has 124 strikeouts, which is tied for 4th in the league. He has a 2.7 ERA. How is this guy? I mean, he could be in the conversation for starting the All-Star game for the National League, up there with Tony Gonsolin and Sandy Alcantara. Obviously, he's not going to ahead of those two guys, but to not even have him on the reserves, I do not agree with that whatsoever. And the same for Dylan Cease, but this is even worse. 133 strikeouts, which is 3rd in the league. He has a 2.45 ERA and a 13 strikeouts per 9. Dylan Cease not being even a reserve. Again, that is blasphemy, the unmitigated gall of Major League Baseball. Zach Wheeler, this guy continues to get disrespected, whether it's in Cy Young voting or for the All-Star game. A 2.46 ERA. He has a 1.05 whip, which is insane. The strikeouts, I mean, 104 is still really good. He's 12th in the league. But Zach Wheeler, not in the All-Star game as of this moment. And Devin Williams, he has a 15.2 strikeouts per 9, a 1.93 ERA as a relief pitcher. I mean, when Josh Hader was, I don't know if he was on the IL or maybe he was, I think his wife was giving birth, so he missed a few games. Devin Williams was lights out as the closer for the Brewers. Devin Williams is not going to be an All-Star. Aaron Nola not having, I mean, look at his whip actually. I was about to start saying things out of my you-know-what. I was about to start making things up. A .93 whip, he's not giving up anything. 120 strikeouts, a 3.15 ERA. How is Aaron Nola not an all-star? And then our final pitcher for today's video before we talk about the hitters, because there's quite a few of them. I mean, you guys can probably guess a few already. Kevin Gausman, who has a 2.86 ERA. He has 100 strikeouts and a 10.2 strikeouts per 9. So all of the pitchers that I just mentioned, I don't know how none of them made it over guys like Paul Blackburn. If you're an A's fan, I just want to say I apologize for me hating for the next 30 seconds, but Paul Blackburn should not be an all-star over any of the pitchers that we just talked about. Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman. I mean, that was really it for the American League. But Paul, I mean, he's only in the game because every single team has to have a representative, and Paul Blackburn is going to be your guy. And I feel bad for Gausman and guys like Cease because Blackburn stole their spot, and hopefully they can get in on technicalities such as injuries. I'm just, the fact that we have to rely on injuries to get people like Ty France in the All-Star game. He has 10 home runs, 45 RBIs, even though he missed some time due to an injury to his elbow. 45 RBIs. He has been crazy productive and efficient. 306 batting average. I mean, the defense has been pretty solid as well. This next player, in my opinion, might be the most egregious aside from Dylan Cease. How is Austin Riley not, I mean, in the conversation, one, to start the game, well, actually, Arenado and Manny Machado have been insane, but a 282 batting average is way above league average. He has 23 home runs, 56 RBIs. He's even got 2 stolen bases to put it in there and a 970-ish fielding percentage. No one really cares about fielding percentage. And one thing to note, yes, this website does not have OPS, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Show you the player, show you the surface stats, because 23 home runs, 56 RBIs on a borderline first place team, that should be enough. Hopefully he gets in somehow. Maybe a manager chooses him or something. I mean, Brian Snicker is the manager of the NL team, so maybe he chooses Austin Riley. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Josh Bell, who is hitting .304 with a bunch of doubles. He's got 12 home runs, 47 RBIs. This guy should be an all-star, and if we take a look at his fielding percentage, I know almost no one cares about fielding percentage or defense for first basemen. We just want long balls, and we want RBIs. Josh Bell is giving you all of that, and if the Nationals do move on from him, they are going to get a haul for a guy that's, I think, 20... Is he 27, 28 years old? He's going to get a bag once he's a free agent. So Josh Bell, he absolutely got snubbed. And same with this guy. I did not know that Jose Abreu was in the top 5 for WAR for first basemen. I haven't really talked about him in recap, but he has 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, a 292 batting average. This guy has been one of the main reasons why the White Sox aren't bottom dwellers in the AL Central. They're underperforming, but they're playing a little bit better as of late, I think. So make sure you guys are aware of Jose Abreu. If you are if you're in a fantasy league, maybe you trade for Jose Abreu, who's flying under the radar. You could probably get him for a low price right now. Tommy Edman, his offense is not going to wow you by any means. 7 home runs, 33 RBIs. The 19 stolen bases is 4th in the league, so that's really fun. But his defense has been out of this world, and that's why his WAR is in the top 10 for any positional player in Major League Baseball. Brandon Drury, now I know it has a Mets profile picture, and if you're a Mets fan, you're probably thinking, wait, we had Brandon Drury. Yes, you did. He is now the 3rd baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. 18 long balls, 50 RBIs. He's basically hitting 280. I mean, he hasn't been the best defensively, obviously, the 974 fielding percentage, but that doesn't mean he's been awful. So again, when we take into account 50 runs batted in, 18 home runs, the fact that he wasn't even a reserve, I don't know if this means that the league is so stacked with talent that guys like Brandon Drury are never going to make it because, one, they don't have fans voting for them because they're not very popular. Like Fernando Tatis, even though he hasn't played a single game, I think he got more votes overall than Brandon Drury, who is having an all-star caliber season as a 3rd baseman. This one also doesn't make any sense. Will Smith, so I'm trying to remember the starters for catcher. Is it Tyler Stevenson, or I don't remember exactly off the top of my head who is starting, but Will Smith, you can make the argument that he should be starting the game with 13 home. Okay, Wilson Contreras, it just came to me. Wilson Contreras is your starter. Will Smith isn't even a reserve. Again, none of these players are even reserves. They have officially been outcasted to Misfit Island if we're talking about, all-star game, Misfit Island, but as a catcher, 13 home runs, 42 RBIs. His OPS is upwards of 850 as well. He has been an absolute monster offensively, and defensively, he's been calling games pretty well. Speaking of calling games pretty well, Jonah Heim has been a machine ever since he became a dad. We all know that there's a joke, dad power, a switch hitting catcher, which is actually kind of funny because now that I think about it, Jonah Heim and Jose Trevino is going to be an all-star for the Yankees. He was on the Rangers last year, so technically the Rangers had 2 all-star catchers, only Jonah is not an all-star, so I can't say that, but you can make the argument that he's been better than Jose Trevino. 12 home runs, or 31 RBIs, that is definitely not 11, a 265 batting average. Okay, yes, the surface stats aren't going to be as pretty as Jose Trevino because Jose has the better batting average and he's been just as productive in terms of RBI, but the home runs, the fact that he's a switch hitter, his defense has been very good as well. I probably would have given it to Jonah Heim over Jose Trevino, but again, the Yankees fan base, they came in clutch, and that is why you have to kind of give some credit to fan bases like the Blue Jays and the Yankees. And I know it's really annoying, and I've had rants about how all-star voting probably should be changed to having captains. I think it would be a lot of fun to have Shohei as one captain, and in the other you have Ronald Acuna Jr. or Fernando Tatis, and they pick the best of the best, because then maybe Jonah Heim does not get snubbed. But those are all of your players. I'm going to go through them real quick one more time. Carlos Rodon, Dylan Cease, Zach Wheeler of the Phillies, Devin Williams, Aaron Nola, Kevin Gausman, Ty France. I don't even know. I mean, a lot of people can make the argument that he should be starting. He's not even on the team right now. Austin Riley, Josh Bell, Jose Abreu, Tommy Edman, Brandon Drury. I feel bad for Brandon because he's probably never going to have a season like this ever again, and even then, he can't make the All-Star team. Will Smith, and then last but not least, Jonah Heim. So let me know in the comments, who do you think is the biggest snub, and who do you think should be replacing the injured players? To me, I would say the 3 most deserving, Dylan Cease, Carlos Rodon, because those guys have been absolutely lights out. Those are my pitcher picks. Even someone like Daniel Bard of the Rockies, maybe he deserves a spot as well. And then if we talk about positional players, Austin Riley, I would say Austin Riley is my biggest, and also Ty France. Those are my, and Josh Bell even. There's a lot of snubs. That's how good Major League Baseball is in terms of talent, but that's how bad fan voting got. So thank you guys for watching. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.